Welcome back to another episode of Radiant Thoughts. I am your host, KP, and today we have a very special guest, the lovely Tori Jackson, my girlfriend. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
In today's episode, Building Healthy Habits, we're going to discuss building healthy habits and having connections and great communication with one another. So to start off, I have a quote and I want to ask you how you feel about this quote. It's to effectively communicate, we must realize that we are all different in the way we perceive the world and use this understanding as a guide to our communication with others. How do you feel about that?
I agree with that. I feel like there's no way to communicate effectively with somebody if you don't understand how they communicate as well. So just tailoring how you communicate was how to make effective communication.
Yeah, I agree with that. When I first seen it, the first thing I thought of is about conflict starting, because we expect one person to communicate in a certain way that they don't, and it doesn't work out. People might butt heads, or even in like friendships, people butt heads, and
people don't accept the way you communicate.
Yeah, and they don't try to understand that you might communicate in a different fashion. So first, we're going to discuss the foundation of a healthy relationship. So foundation, I want to start with the definitions. A definition that I have is being loving towards one another, having effective communication, and going above and beyond at all times for each other, putting each other first. So that's kind of what I define a healthy relationship as. What about you?
I think a healthy relationship is creating like a safe space for your person, being able to rely on them when you fall short, because no relationship is always 50-50.
Right.
So being able to be comfortable knowing like some days I can't give my all, but I expect my partner or my person to pick up on that. So
yeah, I agree with that, because there's a lot of days where one of us might not be feeling up to par, and the other person has to pick up the slack, and that's just things you got to pick up, which that doesn't come like easy. That's stuff you learn, but it's stuff that's necessary, I feel, in a relationship. So I guess that would be kind of a characteristic or a quality of a healthy relationship, is being able to recognize when your partner is feeling a particular way and how to adjust. So I think that's adjustment is a key quality of a healthy relationship, I feel. Also, just being able to have empathy for your partner, I feel that's a great characteristic of a healthy relationship. What do you feel?
Respect.
Absolutely.
Respect is very big. If you don't have respect for the person you with, why are you with them?
Yeah. Ain't no reason. Trust, for sure. I left that one out, but having trust, being able to trust one another is key. Because if there's no trust in a relationship, there's no relationship. Just like if there's no communication, there's no relationship. There's certain things that can make or break a relationship, I feel like. And this is not even like just like relationships like this, but even with friends as well, because family for sure. Because if I can't trust you as a friend, there's no reason for you to even be around. So why do you feel that communication is so important in a relationship?
If you can't really communicate with the person you're with, like, you won't have a relationship. You'll always be distant from each other. You won't understand each other. or just like even being able to express like you said about the whole 50-50 thing, like when I'm not feeling, that I can give 50, I need to be able to communicate that to you.
Right.
And if I can't, then that creates a disconnect for us.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I feel like being able to communicate effectively is like a skill, because a lot of people can't
learn skill.
Yeah, learn skill. It's an everyday process. But I feel like it's very necessary. Communication is very necessary, because if we can't communicate with others or with each other, then there's always going to be that disconnect to where I don't know how you might take something that I say, or you might not know how I take something that you say, or we just don't communicate at all, and that just causes problems down the line, or whenever. So communication is one of the top things in a relationship that I feel. And even with friends, I feel like it's important to communicate, because oftentimes like we have like situations with friends, I noticed, and if we say you don't feel like going somewhere and they plan something out or something, some friends just don't feel, you're not obligated to tell somebody like, oh, I don't want to come, but it's cool if that's your friend and y'all like cool like that, that you should be able to, hey, I ain't coming, and the friend should be able to be like, all right, cool. It should be an understanding. So it's on both sides, being able to accept the communication and actually communicating. So I feel like that's a very important part, because I see a lot of people fall out over just bad communication.
But then with communication too, that also comes with listening. So you got to be able to listen to be able to communicate with somebody.
For sure. Yeah, I feel like active listening is like an art within itself, because you, as you're talking, and somebody could like be listening but not like understanding, and so
listening to hear.
Yeah, just listening to hear, listening to respond, instead of like listening to understand. And so when you like actively listen and you're taking in what they're saying, and when you respond, you're spitting it back to them what they said, and then like elaborating.
Don't put your feelings into it.
So. That is a skill in itself for sure, and it has a huge impact.
It's hard.
Relationships, I feel like. Yeah, it's hard to not get your feelings involved sometimes. And just,
I mean, that's just like a natural instinct, though. Like, as a human, your emotions are going to come first. Girl, boy, don't matter.
Absolutely.
So,
y'all a little more emotional than us.
All right.
Y'all just a little more emotional than us. We a little more logical. I ain't gonna lie. We a little more logical.
It depends on the situation.
We a little more logical.
Depends on the situation.
But anywho, it's definitely learning how to listen is the like one of the top forms of communication, because if you can't listen, then you won't pick up on whatever like anybody's saying. And if somebody's communicating with you about how they feel or what you did wrong or what they need, and you're not actively listening, and you just kind of, you hearing them but you ain't hearing them, you thinking about something else, it's gonna cause a rift again, because they know you heard them say it, and then you don't.
So it's like you're disregarding.
Yeah, you disregard essentially
what they saying,
and that causes problems. So I guess that kind of goes into being mindful, communicating mindfully, and which is kind of like being intentional when you're talking or when you're listening to somebody, or intentionally like being open with them and being able to discuss, your views and feelings back to them in an appropriate manner. So I feel like being mindful is just as like necessary as actively listening. I guess that all coincides with each other though. But applying the effort, being open, and being able to discuss openly with your partner or your friend or whomever about whatever, to be able to, get to a common ground or come to a consensus or agreement of anything. Another form of communication that I feel is often overlooked is nonverbal communication, which has a huge impact on relationships. You know, some people have like certain cues, I feel like, that you can pick up on. Like with you, I know when you why you look at me like
because
that? When you kind of you just give me a look sometimes when you probably ready to go or whatever, and you know that's when I know, all right, we got to do this, or you know we got to get up out of here, and certain stuff like that. So nonverbal cues such as like body language, a tone shift, facial expressions, like I just talked about. It's important to pick on, but now it's pick up on. It's not easy though, I would say, because you got to really study your partner and like know their mannerisms, and whenever they're feeling a certain way in a certain situation, you be able to pick up on it sometimes before it even go in, like you go into the situation. So I feel like
it could be hard sometimes. I mean, you always say I look mad, and I think I be smiling. So
she look mad all the time.
No, I don't.
Look at her face right now. Look mad, don't it? Yeah. So, yeah, it's why I say it's important to study a person. Now, I don't feel like nonverbal cues are that important in like friendships though. I feel like as your friend, I shouldn't have to always know your nonverbal cue. You shouldn't expect me to just know. I know some friendships, like I got friends that I've been friends with like forever, and I can pick up on it like after a while. But like if we kind of just out doing whatever and you feel a certain way, I don't think that's my responsibility.
No, not necessarily. But I feel like, I mean, sometimes you can pick up on it, but sometimes you can't. So I think it just depends, honestly.
Yeah. It's like I said, like certain friends I can, like, and I notice, like, all right, I see how they responded to what this person just said. Let me go mediate or something like that. I can pick up on those certain situations sometimes, but I feel like, and I guess that comes with just regular communication, just certain things I shouldn't have to say, I feel like, or step in to do for a friend. But now, like with you, absolutely, I should pick up on. I feel like it's my responsibility to pick up on your nonverbal cues that you give me. But I feel like it's more important in an actual relationship as opposed to like a platonic relationship.
Yeah.
So what would you say are some practical tips to picking up on a person's nonverbal cues?
I would say, I mean, like, kind of like the same thing you said. Like, if it's a friend that you're kind of, like, just starting to hang out with, like, just seeing how they are around, like, the people they've been around, and just picking up on, like, the stuff that they're doing. Or, like, if somebody, like you said, if somebody says something, and you can kind of tell their whole mood changed. Just little stuff like that. I feel like it's a little harder when you have, like, newer friends. But, like, the people you've been friends with, you already know what triggered them, what make them mad, sad, happy. So.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I feel like it just comes with studying a person. You know, watching their mannerisms every day.
Everybody don't do that, though.
What?
Study a person. Like, some people just be kind of oblivious
somebody
to
just oblivious and
everything.
And just in La La Land. You can't be in La La Land. You can't be in La La Land. You gotta almost people watch. Yeah. Essentially. And you know, I'm a people watcher. I watch the crowd. I watch how everything move. I pick up on all the little body language I see. I notice when, you know, because some of y'all dudes out there, man, let me talk to y'all real quick. Y'all don't know how to talk to people, especially the women. Y'all don't know how to communicate with them. Y'all be talking to a girl, talking their ear off, and they whole body language change, and they hitting you with the, yeah, okay, just shut up. Leave it alone. Stop talking to her. She don't want to talk to you. Just say your goodbyes and walk away. Y'all gotta pick up on that type of stuff sometimes. That's a nonverbal cue. If I say, oh, for real, if I say that like 5 times, just go on. Leave the conversation alone. But it's over with. Let's get to the next thing or just walk away. So yeah, I feel like it's a necessity in certain relationships. I don't think it's required in every relationship, but it's a good thing to have. I feel like, you know, but definitely in, you know, a actual relationship.
Yeah.
Because I gotta know when you ain't feeling right. I gotta be able to pick up on it like that. Now, I know we talk about being able to tell, your partner, like, hey, I'm not feeling good today. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it doesn't happen. Like you said, relationships ain't perfect. It ain't never gonna be 50-50. It might be a day you just don't want to say nothing, and I gotta be able to pick up on that. And if you don't tell me,
yeah,
so.
So, what are some ways that you think can improve like nonverbal cues?
In what way?
Like, okay, say me and you are like into it about something, like we having a disagreement. I'm not gonna say argument, but like a disagreement about something. Right. So, like, what are some like improvements that you would say for nonverbal cues?
I know in arguments sometimes one of us may kind of be like just standoffish and expect the other to come say something to him. I feel like as the person that isn't being standoffish, you can go address it, and on the flip side of that, the person that is being standoffish can kind of just say how they're feeling. So I guess that would be more so not necessarily improving on knowing or picking up on a nonverbal cue. Mm-hmm. It's kind of more so like just communicating in general, because that kind of breeds conflict. It can bring conflict, because if you don't say something and I'm over here just mad, expecting you to say something, and you don't say nothing, and now I'm mad at you because you ain't say nothing. Like, why you ain't realize I was mad?
Yeah.
Like, you supposed to know I'm mad and come fix the problem. But that's not effective communication, I feel like. So
yeah.
But the conflict piece actually is big, because a lot of people in general, just in friendships, like relationships or just regular friendships, don't know how to like
resolve conflict.
Yeah, they don't. There's no conflict resolution skills, and I feel like we're not taught that, especially as like black people. I say as black men, we're kind of always taught to just meet force with force. We're never taught to.
I feel like that's just black people in general, though.
Yeah, well, I'm saying like black men, because I was always taught, which I still live by this: somebody hit you, hit them back, or something like that, But we to have it's hard for us to develop like conflict resolution skills, because healthy conflict resolution because we don't know how to talk to each other.
No,
I feel like it's more so with men is I'm dominant and I have to be dominant and you're not gonna come in. It's like when a lion, or I seen a video of two bears. They was in the same vicinity, and two grizzly bears, and they fought until one just like gave in. And I know we're not bears, but
right. I mean, I kind of agree with that though. But like you said about like males, like the I'm dominant thing, I feel like that's just black people in general though, and I think that just comes from like the oppression and stuff. Like, you're not finna come at me crazy, so I'm gonna get hyped back with you.
That's a fact.
Even with each other though. So
so I feel like in relationships, conflict resolution has to be key, because if we can't.
I'm not finna be arguing with you all the time. I'm sorry. It's not gonna happen.
Argument. Like, we're not finna be bickering back and forth all the time. There's no reason for that. We got to be able to come to
be adults.
Agreements, be adults, and squash it, or find a solution. And I think a lot of times in arguments, though, is people look at it as like, I'm right, you wrong, or you right, I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. And it shouldn't be viewed as that. I think it's more so like,
what can we
how
do
do we fix it? Yeah, not, well, I'm right, and this is why I'm right.
Yeah.
And, I think, because then nobody wins. Like, you don't win or lose in a
relationship.
It's pointless to try to battle somebody to be right. You talk about it to resolve the situation, I feel like. So what would you say are some strategies to conflict resolution as like friends or relationship?
I feel like it kind of ties into everything we talked about. Like, you have to, if I'm feeling some type of way, I need to come and express that to you, because you might not feel like you did anything.
Right, yeah.
That goes into a whole nother thing. Like, I'm not responsible for how you react to what I say, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I feel like you need to just be able to communicate that with like your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your friend, family member. Like, if something is wrong, I need to tell you.
Yeah. For sure.
So
for sure,
if I don't tell you, we can't fix it. But then also when I tell you, it shouldn't be, well, you shouldn't have did this and
yeah. Now
like,
that's a big. I seen that a lot, You know, when somebody arguing and, well, I did that because you did this.
Yeah.
Well, why you ain't come
tell me
talk
to me about it?
Yeah, because now you went and reacted off of an action that
wasn't even meant that way.
Meant to happen that way. And that's a big thing. You always hear about people doing something bad. I ain't gonna say it. Nah, I say it. It'd be like cheating or something, or there'd be somebody that see somebody talking to, let's say, see a dude talking to a girl, and like, oh, you was talking to her, so I'm finna go over here and do this. And whole time they could have been asking, oh, that's a nice shirt. Thank you.
Okay, but why you gotta go tell her it's a nice shirt?
No, the girl. Say the girl told me it was a nice shirt.
Okay. Still.
And I just said thank you. What am I supposed to say?
I don't know.
I'm just supposed to leave me alone. I got a girlfriend.
You can.
I got a girlfriend.
You could.
That's rude. But no, that's what you should do.
Why I gotta do it if that's rude?
You need to be rude.
What?
Because
what?
Dudes is different though.
Girls is the same way.
Girls don't just approach us like that though. A dude will approach you at the quickness, and you should. Yeah.
Girls ain't scared no more.
Yeah, you're right, y'all. Some of these girls are. Anywho, but you got to be able to navigate though conflict properly, and there's no like right or there's a wrong way, but the right way may vary,
Yeah.
Something might work for our relationship that might not work for
somebody
else's relationship. So I think that all comes with communication again, just being able to figure out what works for whomever, friendships, relationships, family members, whatever. Because I think that's a thing that we don't work on at all in like the community. There's nothing geared around resolving conflict with each other. Like, when we talk about building, the black community or just in general to be, greater, there's always two different sides to whatever, let's say, problem that's going on. Some people might want this to happen. Some people might want something else to happen. And when conflict, like, happens, it's instant argument instead of like, okay, well, this is how I feel about this is how you feel about this, let's come to a agreement in some way.
Also, when you say this is how I feel about it, it shouldn't be you did this to me, you did this, facts. You did that.
Facts. It should be facts.
Yeah.
It should, you present what actually happened and factual statements as opposed to...
And then add your feelings in.
You can add your feelings.
I mean, I'm saying, so, like, if I'm saying you did this, that's not, like, effective because that's going to make you be like, well, I didn't do that. Like, that's not how it went. So if I'm telling you, like, okay, this happened. You said, or I guess that's not really a good example, but, like, this is what was said. This made me feel like this because...
Okay, yeah. For sure.
But instead of saying, like, you said this and this made me, like, that's going to make somebody off rip kind of take offense.
And want to just jump back at you.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so when you navigating conflict, you got to put them emotions at the tail end. You can't, like, I know we emotional creatures, but the emotions kind of got to come a little bit later. That's why I say you got to be logical.
Yeah.
You gotta be logical. You gotta be a little logical, and then transition into, especially with your partner. You should care about how they felt and how you have made them feel. So, and navigate that the proper way. How would you say people should approach like difficult conversations with one another?
I think like just situations with us in general, like we've had disagreements and I've been like, okay, I'm not ready to talk about it right now. like, if a person is really not ready to talk about it, it's only going to go bad.
That's true. See, I'm more like, let's talk about it right
It
now.
depends on what it is, though. Because, like,
let's
sometimes,
get it over with.
I get it. But, like, if I'm not in, like, the mental space to really talk about it, and I'm fired up with emotions and we start talking, I'm going to yell at you and we're going to argue.
Right,
so I need to, like, let me gather my thoughts and, like, kind of calm myself down before having that conversation.
I think I'm more so kind of, all right, whatever happened, and we go our separate ways for a second, then we come back to it. Like, I wanna resolve it, like,
right then
and there, because I don't like the dragging stuff on a couple of days, and because now if I talk, if we wait and we come back to it, now we in different, like, mental states. We in a fresher, mind state or whatever. But at the same time, now I got to talk to you or not talk to you throughout the days in between. And then we come back to it, and it's like, then if we don't reach a agreement, then it's dragged out some more. Yeah. So, like, it kind of drags. That's why I don't resort to that method. But I do feel like taking a step back and reassessing situations is key, because you want to come in with a clear mind when something happens, like, immediately, and then
it's all react. Emotion.
It's just it's all emotion, instead of,
we can't discuss anything if we both is like,
there's nothing gonna come out of that. And as far as, like, difficult conversations, I feel like when we need to talk about something that is
detrimental,
not necessarily detrimental, well, detrimental too, but kind of just stuff that we know are touchy situations or touchy topics, I think it, I like kind of what you do. Like, okay, I'm ready to talk about this in this particular time, or let's do this first and then we talk about that. Or, like, you would say, ask me first, because sometimes we might have a difficult conversation and then it might ruin whatever you got planned for the day, because now you're thinking about that or whatever, and it kind of throws you off depending on the conversation, and it don't necessarily help that.
No.
Yeah. So I think kind of scheduling it out if you can, I guess, but not just jumping right. All right, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Some things, if it's that necessary.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Some stuff needs to be
dealt with,
handled in the moment, but I definitely think just allowing yourself to talk about it when you're ready. Mm-hmm. And when you are ready to talk about it, you still need to make sure that, like, you keep those emotions
in check.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So I want to talk about, like, having boundaries in a relationship. What would you say is, because I know a lot of times we you get on Twitter and you got the women and the men arguing back and forth about whatever, or whatever situation that may have happened that week. It's something every day on
Facebook
Twitter.
Live.
So how would you say boundaries should be approached in a relationship, like personal boundaries?
As far as, like, what?
Like, if you have a particular thing that you do and I don't necessarily like it, kind of thing, is that kind of like me intruding on your boundaries, or more so like, all right, this is what I like and this is what I do, or this is my time, or I need this time to myself, or I don't like nobody in my little, like, bubble or something like that, like discussing boundaries like that, I guess, more so. What is your approach to having boundaries? Because I feel like we just kind of I think we got boundaries at the same time. I don't think it's not.
I mean, I feel like it depends on what it is, because, like, in the sense of you saying, like, I need my own personal space in this specific time, you have to respect that. Like, that's not... Sure. Some stuff I feel like is kind of, like, negotiable in a way. Mm-hmm. Not saying that you need to, like, negotiate all your boundaries, but, like, some stuff, if I come and I'm like, oh, you can't tell me what to wear, but then I go somewhere and everything is out. Like, in a relationship, you gotta,
yeah, for sure,
kind of negotiate stuff like that. But some stuff I feel like, it's fair to just be like, okay,
this is mine,
yeah,
and this is, how I feel about it, for sure. Yeah, I think with boundaries is kind of relative, kind of like you said. Like, if I was to go somewhere and just be wilding out or something, or like, yeah, you can't tell me this, that, and the third, like that. I don't look at that as kind of like a boundary. That's kind of just like
some people
you wanted to do.
Yeah,
some people feel like that. It's like, I just feel like that's you doing what you want to do,
and not having respect for your partner,
for what your partner may say or feel about it. How would you address like one's needs though? Like, when you look at what I may need or you may need, and how do you communicate that with your partner? Or how should people communicate that with your
partner? I feel like it depends on the person, because I personally am like a quiet, shy person, so I'm not always as verbal about like what I need. But I feel like you do a pretty good job with like picking up on stuff when I don't say it. But like, that's not the case for everybody. So
Right.
I feel like if it's something that's like, if I don't have this, like, our relationship is not going to be okay, then I definitely am like, of course I'm going to, tell you what I need. Some stuff I feel like people just kind of hold in just because, like, maybe they don't know how the other person is going to, like, take it. Or, like, like, if I'm telling you, like, I need you to open the door for me every time we go somewhere. Some people might not.
Which I do.
He does.
Every time I'm opening the door. When she open the door, I close it back.
But, like, some people, like, some guys might not be okay with that. Or, like, so the girl might not think, okay, I need to tell him this. Or like, because he might get mad, or he might not do it, and then I might lose this person or something like that. So I feel like people kind of hold some of that stuff in with fear of, like, if they don't do it, then what am I going to do?
True. I feel like express your needs. If your needs are not getting met, then you have a conversation about it. If there are like non-negotiable needs, then you got to reassess. But some needs are negotiable. Sometimes y'all be overdoing it.
Who is y'all?
Anywho.
Whatever.
You don't be overdoing it.
But I feel like sometimes you don't know what those needs are either. So I'm going to tell you about the show I watched. It's called The Ultimatum on Netflix.
Oh my God.
And so basically it's like couples, and they go, one person gave ultimatum to like get married or not, and they go on the show and like date other people. And like a lot of the time, it's only 2 seasons, so it's not that much to go off of, but like a lot of the time the couples were like, oh, I didn't realize that like I needed this from somebody. Like, I realized now that I'm with somebody else that they didn't have this, and this was the person I was trying to marry, and I didn't realize it until now. Like, this is like a non-negotiable for me moving forward kind of thing. So like sometimes you don't know what those needs are. Yeah,
I think that's comes into like having a connection with your partner, and like make sure you build a connection with whomever, so you can kind of pick up on those needs when they don't express them. Like, if I know you like whatever, if you like flowers, and you're a flower girl, and which you don't got a green thumb. No. Which is okay. But if I know you like flowers, and flowers brighten up your mood and stuff like that, then, that's something through us building like a connection that I can pick up on and be like, okay, I can take care of these needs and satisfy her this way without even asking, or her having to tell me what she needs. So I feel like a connection is a big part in having a healthy relationship, because if we don't connect on any like level, then there's no use of the relationship. And I feel like a lot of so-called relationships that people have nowadays are just built upon no type of connection. It's just
some people get too comfortable though.
That's true. I think it's people are more so just, they build a connection off of like sex, to where there's no like actual feelings and connection involved, and they don't do actual things that build a connection. So what are some things that you would say people could do to like foster that connection if that's what they're looking for?
I feel like just having like honestly random conversations. I feel like we did that a lot when we first started dating.
For sure.
We like shared a lot with each other. I feel like most people probably don't share, but just like having those conversations to actually like get to know that person. Doing more than just sitting at home, because I feel like even less like when we sit at home and then we go out on a date to like the bowling alley or like going to the arcade, different people, like you get a different version of the person.
Facts. What she's saying is y'all need to start taking them on some dates. Y'all be wanting Netflix and chill.
Yeah, no.
That ain't gonna cut it. Cause see, y'all just be trying to, but go out.
And not just out to eat. We go out to eat a lot, but not just out to eat. Like,
you have to put our business out there like that.
It's okay though. It's okay. It's fine.
Nah, but also with that though, just at like going out on dates, I feel like when we first started dating and when we like really got like super serious, it was like the pandemic had hit, and we were dating before then, but that whole summer, like what was that, from March when we got sent home from school, from then till September we were just in the house. So we would go on like walks. We would walk up and down the river walk, or we would just go sit in the car. We would just go take out. Like we would do certain things that would help us build that connection. Granted, we had a kind of cheat code because we couldn't go do nothing during COVID and the pandemic, but it's essential to do certain things. I feel like you said, going out on dates, like the different kind of dates matter though. Like if I take you out to a dinner, I'm not going to get the same person as, like you said, an arcade, or if we go do a walk in the park, or if we go to the pumpkin farm, or like stuff like that. I'm not going to get the same Tori. It's going to be tailored because she might like I know you would rather your birthday. So this is communication, right? So for her birthday, I asked her what she wanted to do. I had a series of things picked out, and one of them was I believe it was kind of a historic museum, and then an art museum. And so I like history. I ain't gonna say I'm a geek, but like I like learning new stuff and seeing new things. And so I'm just in my head, I'm knowing like, all right, she gonna pick the history museum. She gonna pick the history museum. No. She definitely chose the art museum. And so, art museums, it's all quiet. You walking around slow, trying to figure out, what does this painting mean? And so it just kind of, I was like, this is boring. But like, I had to realize like, okay, this is not for me. This is for her. But I wanted her to pick that history. Then
I would have been bored.
Yeah. And so that's why you got to be able to communicate effectively with each other. Because I ain't say nothing until afterwards. But you got to be able to build that connection to even like pick up on that and to know. All right, y'all. So in closing, I want y'all to be able to take away these key things like that we discussed, like effective communication, picking up on nonverbal cues, building like those emotional connections, and conflict resolution. Take them, apply them to your life, your relationships, and build upon them so you can have a healthy relationship. Because there's no like guideline to this. So, take what applies. What they say, if it applies, take it, and if it don't, just let it fly. How that thing go? I forgot. If it don't apply, let it fly. There you go. If it don't apply, let it fly. But if it does apply, take it and assess it and use it in your relationships, friendships, family members, whatever. So also, I would like to hear, feedback from you guys. So either comment on the YouTube or on the Spotify. You can find me on Instagram at @radiantthoughts_, and just leave little tidbits. If there's something that we missed out on or something that you want to add, or if you feel like we were wrong somewhere, let me know. Give me some feedback. I would love to have listener engagement. So, like I said, either in the YouTube comments, follow on IG at Radiant Thoughts _ comment there, message, whatever. I also post my daily motivation on Instagram, so you can go get that every morning at 7 in the morning. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and rocking with us. Like this, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Maybe we'll get more of Toriana on the show with us. I appreciate you being here with me. I love this conversation, even though we have conversations like this all the time. So again, y'all, thank y'all for tuning in. We're going to catch y'all on the next one. Peace. You feel me? You ain't even peep. We had the Radiant Thoughts shirts on. You feel me? Hold on, back. You feel me? It's, y'all see it. Y'all see it on her. We're going to have some merch coming. We got this. We're going to have my little tagline that I started, habits build lifestyles. Because the habits you build today create the lifestyle you live tomorrow. You feel me? So, and I don't need no permission from nobody.
Okay.
From nobody.
Not too much.
So we're going to keep it P. But we're going to keep it positive as well, you know what I'm saying? So, you feel me? So.